Welcome back to G4G on YouTube. I'm Nathan, and today we're going to talk about some of the issues that Midnight Suns is having. We're going to discuss 3 issues in this particular video. The first one that I'm going to touch upon is apparently Steam has put an anti-cheat mechanic in an offline single-player game. I say offline because you're not going online and doing multiplayer and jumping in with other people. You are going online in the sense that it launches that 2K launcher in between your click into from Steam into Midnight Suns and then actually launching the game. There's an intermediary launcher, which of course is online. However, for all intents and purposes, we do call this an offline game. It is certainly a single player game, because of the fact that if you were to play with other people, unlike, say, Marvel Avengers, where you could decide to throw in your Iron Man or your Hulk or your Black Widow, this is sort of more like Guardians of the Galaxy, where there is a definitive main character, similar to, say, the Agent in Marvel Avengers Alliance. You are the hunter that is your extension through the portal from our reality into the game's reality, and that is the hunter. Yes, you are in full control of your Deadpools and your Hulks and your Scarlet Witches and everything. However, it is truly a single-player game. So I noticed this thread over here when I came to do the Steam forums for the other 2 issues of the game. But I wanted to interject this into the video and talk about it because this is very serious. This person, Darkwater Song, said, anti-cheat software is in the single-player game. I use a trainer to max some things out in games after I've beaten them once or twice just because I want to go through them quickly to do other things, or sometimes I get really, really stuck. However, I have a mod software for Skyrim, and Midnight Suns detected it, and it gave him this message: cheat program detected. A program used for game exploitation has been detected running on this machine. Please close the program and restart the game. For assistance, please visit support2k.com. If I was this person, I would absolutely do exactly that, and I would file a ticket and be like, yo, WTF? What the fuck is going on? Why do you care about what I do in a game that is not related to the game that I was cheating in? Why are you busting me for that? It is utterly ridiculous, and people, of course, are really upset about it. This guy admits he went ham on the cheats prior to this going in, and now he doesn't want to do NG Plus because of it. From what I read, the game was initially intended to have a lot more pay-to-win options, but after being criticized a lot, they decided to take a cosmetic-only approach with the microtransactions. Since the anti-cheat was already there, they decided to keep it. Somebody said that's what I was talking about when I did a review. Here, I actually wrote about this yesterday when I posted a review of the mess of the game. I still can't believe they added an anti-cheat to a single-player game. It's the funniest thing. I bet it's Denuvo. Let me tell you, everybody fucking hates Denuvo. It is the biggest pile of trash anti-tamper out there, and some of the games that ship with Denuvo make no sense. Now, admittedly, Denuvo is not an anti-cheat, it's an anti-hack or an anti-crack tool so that you cannot package up the game, put it out there on torrent sites, and people download it for free. Most developers take the stance that, okay, when you crack me, and when there are viable whereas or fully packaged and free versions of the game out there, then we will take away Denuvo because then it is useless to be there. It can be cracked, it can be hacked, it can be put out on the web for free. Because they know Denuvo has a significant game impact for most of the games that it is tied to. Well, that makes Paradox a better pub. Maybe the anti-cheat would be to give yourself a skin or character that you're supposed to pay for. Maybe that's why there's a pop for it. But generally, these things don't do that. Okay, here, they have no legal right to scan your memory looking for cheat programs unless they explicitly state it in the TOS or the EULA. That's against the law unless it's in their EULA. They can get into some hot water over it. Cheat Engine has a thread to block remove their anti-cheat stuff, FYI. You have to kill a thread running inside of the exe itself. It's a feature that the devs who use Denuvo can activate. The directions are cryptic, so I added a more step by step at the end of the forum thread. I do not advocate doing this to steal currency for MTs. That's dishonest, and you shouldn't do that. It might actually be illegal to do so, but it is a single player game. You can cheat a combat game stats all you like. Anti-cheat has been in the game since day one. Trust me, I tried. No, it hasn't. I use Cheat Engine, and cheap happens. Not to buy microtransactions, but for certain combat things, even Wii Mod worked from day one. But then they're saying I couldn't get Cheat Engine open on day one. Then they're saying, well, Cheat Engine didn't work originally. I used Wii Mod for my first playthrough. Since the Deadpool update, more things are blocked. Okay, if you've been a follower of this channel for many years, you will know that when it comes to things like online games or multiplayer games or keeping up with the Joneses games compared to other people, I don't support cheating. However, I am a child of the 80KFA generation, IDDQD, ID Pacipid, all of the, Command and Conquer cheats and everything like that when you start getting pissed. Up, left, down, down, up, down, left, right, ABA, start, all that shit. Udlibra. There's a Deftones song with that. Fine. When you're cheating in a game online, like Marvel Avengers Alliance, then yeah, that is a different story. I spoke out against that highly. Even Leet Hacks, which did such innocuous things as automating some gold farming, I did not support in Marvel Avengers Alliance. This I absolutely do, because you're entitled to do that. You have purchased the game. As long as you are not stiffing them for their money, however crappy it is, then you know what? Go ahead and cheat to your heart's content. Make your characters invincible. Give yourself 25 of a card you really like. I don't care. That's your prerogative. That is how you get enjoyment out of the game that you purchased. Go fucking do it. Online is a different story. Aimbotting, trigger botting, wall hacks, all that stuff I do not support, and have been an admin on game sites and been trained to look for that stuff and to bust people for it. So anyway, that's the cheating thing, the anti-cheating. What I really wanted to talk about is there are two issues going on since the Deadpool DLC came out. One is a question about save games when you launch the game, and then the other were people that were not getting Deadpool as a viable character in their game. So this is one of them, about Deadpool not being available to use after he's supposed to join your team and be a fully fleshed out character. This guy said, close the game, go into offline mode, Steam, or disconnect from the internet, launch game, load a save, Deadpool's now in the menu, cars could be changed, blah, 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 blah. But there's some issues here. Same here, went offline, loaded the game, have Deadpool now, made a new save, went back online, can't load the game save. This, I believe, is what Darth Plato, friend of the channel, was experiencing, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video. So the first reason why I wanted to do this video is that when I patched the game for the Deadpool DLC, because I have the season pass, I went to load the game and it said, do you want to move the game save? And me, how I interpreted that in my infinite experience of game playing and being a technician, I thought it was basically saying this version of the game existed in a patch state before where we are now, do you want to move the save over to the current patch version, the current DLC, etc.? Now, I want to pause for a second and say and ask you people, do you guys know of any game in the past where you've had a version, there's been a DLC and stuff like that, and it asks you like, do you want to go ahead and upgrade or update your save to the patch version? I could swear that I have played games that have gotten a DLC or like a major change or major update, and it asks you like, do you want to bring the save over into the new version, or do you want to continue to play on your old one? Now, basically, you see that in things like Borderlands, where you complete the main story and then you can go to True Vault Hunter mode and Ultimate Vault Hunter mode and everything like that, which is essentially New Game Plus, so on and so forth. Now that I've seen that kind of a question, but that is a New Game Plus. That's different. I'm thinking more along the lines of a straight up question of, do you want to play in the DLC or stay in the base game? So, for example, if you had Bloodborne and installed new hunters, uh, and it asks you like, do you want to play with new hunters content enabled? It doesn't. Bloodborne doesn't ask you that, but that's the kind of question that I'm talking about. Leave a comment down below if you know of games that did that. It's escaping my mind. Anyway, so it asked me, do I want to move the save, yes, or skip? And I hit yes, because I was like, okay, well, yeah, I want my save to be to the updated version. That's not actually what that question was asking. Nobody knows what that question is asking, because over on Reddit, people were commenting that they got that question and they didn't know what to do, and no matter what they clicked, it didn't seem to change anything. However, my saved games disappeared. When I loaded the game, I was faced with new game only, and like continue and load game were gone. So I was like, unbelievable, I'm now done with this game. I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Well, I'm glad I calmed down and realized that, okay, um, it doesn't have to be the end of the world. Maybe there's something I can do. And I found out this game was making backups of the saves. How to get to that backup is you go to My Documents, My Games, Marvel Midnight Suns, Save Steam folder, Save Games, and then they were here in the backup. You'll see that there was time where I played it on the 2nd, the 4th, the 11th. This was a brief little login to it yesterday. And what I did is I sorted it by date modified. And because of World of Warcraft Dragonflight, I've not been in Midnight Suns. I do apologize for that. I know you guys look to me pretty often to play Marvel games, cover them, give opinions, anything from Marvel Strike Force to Snap to Marvel Avengers Alliance, Redux Progression, and everything. Midnight Suns, I am failing you guys, and I'm sorry, but that's because World of Warcraft is my primary game. Dragonflight expansion came out. That is where my time is. Admittedly, we are not raiding because we were decimated in the raiding culture by Blizzard and how bad Shadowlands were. And I'm not in a stage where I'm pushing the clan to raid right now. We're taking this casually, but it's still fun. It's still a primary game. Anyway, I sorted it by date modified, and I took everything that was all on the same date. I copied it, and I moved into the save games folder from the backup folder. I moved in here. I pasted it in here. And then when I loaded the game up, there was my hunter. There I was following Agatha through the Abbey, just like I said, or just like I had hoped. And I was able to load my game, and then I quit out of the game and everything was fine. So if you lost your save due to the do you want to move your save question, skip or continue, skip or yes, or whatever it was, you can go into this backup folder and get your save games and get them, get them back and everything like that. So that part is at least okay. The other thing we need to talk about, and this is what Darth Plato had brought to my attention, is that he contacted 2K and was trying to get a fix from 2K as to what is going on with Deadpool basically acting as an NPC. He's well past the mission that Deadpool would make himself available. I think he was like somewhere in the 70s for his missions, or I don't recall what I saw in the screenshot, but he's definitely past the point in which you unlock Spider-Man, Spider-Man Unmasked in Chapter 1. That is when Deadpool becomes available. He's way past that, and yet his Deadpool was acting as if he was basically an NPC. He's hanging around in the Abbey. I think you can have a drink with him, but then you can't do anything else. You can't edit his card. You can't get him in the missions, etc. So he opened a ticket with 2K support, but they were very slow in getting back to him. So he came to me and said, what do you think about this error? And I said, I'll go take a look at it because I got to look up my own thing. In the process of that conversation, I solved my problem, which was what was up with that menu question, where did my save goes. He did get back to me today and told me 2K support got back to him, and I said, yeah, from what I researched on the web, some people are getting it, some people aren't. We don't know what's the cause, but people are actually kind of bickering over it. The people who don't have the bug are saying it works fine for me, the game's not bugged, shut up. Like, I found that to be just really ridiculous. I was like, wow, that is really unfair. Okay, so you don't have the bug, good for you, but stop crapping on the poor people that have to deal with this. It is now frequently reported enough that this is not a one-off issue to one or two people playing on the PC. This is common. You're making an ass out of yourself, but it's the internet, so what do you expect? Anyway, support told him, and I let me be frank, I have an issue with what their support said because it banks on the fact that you should have a reasonable amount of computer knowledge, and this support response is not worded in the vein of somebody who just doesn't really know that much about computers. It makes a few assumptions, and I'm not happy with that. So here's what support said. Once we've checked and you're on Steam, please go through the following steps. Make sure the game is closed, then open File Explorer, type %appdata%. Go to roaming, T2GP launcher, delete the Steam folder, launch the game. This part here, making sure the game is closed, open File Explorer, type in %appdata%, that is what bothers me a little bit, because if you've been around computers for a while and are of the sort of novice level, you're going to know that maybe Explorer at one point in time was called Windows Explorer, and maybe you even had some confusion when somebody says Explorer, you're like, Internet Explorer or Windows Explorer? Trust me, I've seen it, okay? Windows Explorer has now been called File Explorer as of Windows 10 and going forward. That could be a bit of a confusing direction. What could have been said is to go to Windows R and type it, or go to Windows E and then where to type it. Maybe put in a screenshot and circle it. I was not thrilled with the fact that 2K support worded their reply the way that it did, because it has confused some people. Anyway, what they mean is hit Windows R and type in %appdata% and then follow the instructions, or launch what you may have historically called Windows Explorer, and then up in the address bar up here, this bar right here where the blue is, click in there, delete whatever's typed in there, type %appdata, and now you can follow your way down through the folder structure that they want you to, which is to go to T2GP Launcher, see that Steam folder, delete it. Okay, so I believe Darth Plato did this, but now he's getting messages about an incompatible save. And I had been suggesting at the time that what he needs to do is go to the game, Where the cloud status is, click the cloud to make sure that he is fully synced up with the Steam servers. Uh, Let me see. Yeah, so he's saying nothing changed. Um, he's saying he went through the steps, nothing changed. So I don't even know that 2K support really has a fix for this right now. There does seem to be maybe some workaround in doing the game offline and everything, but when Darth did that, he got the message. Let me pull that back up over here. He got the message that the saves were incompatible. See here, manual save, incompatible save version, incompatible save version. My recommendation is if you are trying any of these fixes, be it what you know is 2K saying to do, or what you're coming across using Google Foo, or using Reddit and everything, that folder that I showed you earlier in the video where the save files lay, back them up to a safe place, put them on like a thumb drive, put them on a different drive on your computer, do whatever you can to get them in a safe place before you try any of these fixes. Because as long as you have those saves, you will likely be able to continue in some way, shape, or form if any of these fixes break your saves. You can always pull them out of the dirt and then try to do something. Now, I don't know if Steam gives you a choice of what you want to do when you have a conflict between your files. Typically, things like Dropbox and Google Drive and everything, if there is a conflict between a local version and a cloud version, it usually asks, well, what do you want to override, the local version or the cloud version? Now, I think in this case, if you were to say, well, give me the cloud version, you will have a save where Deadpool doesn't work. If you have fixed him offline and then go to upload that save back into the cloud to get everything back in sync, you would say, I want to use the local save. I don't remember if Steam does that or not, or if it just tells you there's a conflict and you click this cloud status button again and it just resolves it for you. Here's another example of my, cloud status being up to date. However, if I had the Messenger installed on my laptop and I played it for 3 hours tonight while Steam was closed on my PC, and then I launched my Messenger tomorrow on my PC, it may say you're out of sync because the cloud is newer than your PC. Like, what do you want to do? I should have that chance to say, yes, I want to stay with my older PC files, or yes, give me the newer ones in the cloud. I don't know if cloud does that because I haven't really run into that in a while. So take my warning, back up your Midnight Suns save files if you do any of these fixes or try to do any of these fixes. And I really hope to the people that have the Deadpool problem that we get something official, or in all honesty, 2K needs to release a patch that fixes Deadpool for everybody that's having the problems with it. Some people are saying it's when you get Deadpool before you get Spider-Man unmasked and everything, and that's where the issue is. I don't really know as of yet, but try the fixes we talked about here. Back up your saves. And if you want to cheat in the game, I would suggest writing to 2K support and letting them know that you wish to do that and pin them down for an answer as to why they are blocking modifications and cheating in a single player game that you paid full price for. So anyway, Napalm Dawn saying goodbye, and don't ask me about any Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux updates. Don't have any. Peace out.